Everyone, thanks so much for coming back to my channel. This is Tina with Tina's Craft Creations. I'm on today with a small scrapbook.com haul. Now I also wanted to tell you guys about my trip to Maine. It was amazing. And the reason I'm going to tell you about that in this video, you'll see why, but I'm going to show you what I bought first. But the theme of this video is travel. So, I got an email last week before my trip indicating that there was a new Pink Fresh Studio collection out, and it was offered on scrapbook.com. I don't really like buy their stuff very often. They have beautiful collections, but I don't for some reason lean towards their collections very often. This one was travel themed, and of course I had to snatch it up because you guys know I love to travel. It's like my favorite hobby besides crafting. And so I went ahead and bought most of the collection. I'm going to show you the paper first. Now this collection is called Tourist Mode. I ordered, I think, maybe 2 sheets of all of the 12x12s. I can't remember. But there was like 12x12s, 6x8, and then like elements to go with it. So I ordered not a ton of the collection because, like I said, I don't usually buy a ton of their stuff, but I liked this because it was travel themed. So this is the first paper. It is called Destination. Again, Pink Fresh Studio Tourist Mode. It's a brand new collection. I love this. You could cut these apart and make these like little sentiments. But you have big city adventure, travel stories, just feeling so excited, day trip, savor this, going places, trip highlights, so glad to be here. Hi there, here, there, everywhere. It looks like an I at first. Wander, going places, excursion, this view, a little exploring, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then we have this really pretty orange and yellow pattern on the other side. All right. The next page, we have this really pretty blue. There's a lot of blues and reds and like primary colors in this collection. It is really pretty though. This one is called Staycation. I love the little arrows and the little dots. And then on the other side, you have this design. All right. This one is a cut apart. It is called Ready to Roam. I actually ordered 3 of this one since it's a cut apart. It's like tickets and tags. And we have brand new discoveries, have a nice trip, wander, some tags, little scenic route, once in a lifetime experience, let's go. I am right where I want to be. And then on the other side, we have this yellow and white stripe. Okay. Then we have this really pretty green one called Magical Place. It's got some like flowers and arrows, and then we have this. This is perfect for a layout. Then we have this one. It is called Tourist Mode, and it is got little circles. You could totally cut those apart. And then we have this really pretty stripe. All right, we have this one that looks sort of like a subway or underground type of map. It's called En Route. And then we have this pattern here. We have this one called Going Places. Again, you could cut these apart, totally make some embellishments with these, or add them to embellishments. And we have this pattern here. Okay, I really like this one because it's got a lot of sightseeing. It's got a lot of words. Totally cut this apart. Walk and wander. We'll travel for food. Embrace the detours. Road trip. Domestic. Local love. Historic landmark. Scenic route. Bon voyage. Uncharted territory. Let's go everywhere. Seeking sunshine. Breathtaking. Various travel themed sentiments. And then this blue on blue pattern here. We have this next one called Travel Log. Again, I ordered 2 of every sheet. Again, lots of sentiments. You can cut these apart and arrows. And then this like beigey color with little dots. More cut aparts. I love the cut aparts. Got 2 of these. These are like postcards and tickets and little various cut aparts. It's called Happy Place. We have this blue. Lots of blue in this collection. This one called Wander and Wonder. I really like this as like a map. Then we have this one with the florals. Okay, and then we have this Great Outdoors. This is the last one, the blue with the little like camping theme. backpack and mushrooms and maps and tents and binoculars and things like that. And then this pattern on the other side. So that's all the 12 by 12 papers. That's the 12 by 12s. And then I also got a 6 by 8 paper pad, just in case I wanted to make some smaller embellishments and whatnot. So we have probably the same papers, just mini sized. Again, I'm not super familiar with Pinkfresh Studio as much as I am with other companies, but we'll do a quick flip through of this. These are double-sided. That's always nice when you get double-sided 6 by 6 papers. Yeah, all the same paper. And then little tiny cut-aparts. And then the words. Super small words. That's really awesome. Yeah, and then more cut-aparts. And then it repeats. So, 6 by 6 paper pad. I did order 2 of the sticker sheets. These are like cardstock stickers. So I got 2 of everything basically. So we have labels and little tickets and sentiments, and then these on the other side, stamps and tags and more labels and lots of sentiments. Okay, got that one. I got the chipboard stickers. I got 2 of each. So we have some frames, some sentiments, more frames, little various pieces. I love the fact that they give you lots of little frames, and these are single-sided. All right, I got 2 packs of the like stationery pack. It's called Journaling Bits, actually. So it's just like little envelopes and tags. I'm not going to open this since it's pretty easy to see these. Okay, I got 2 of the puffy stickers, and these are really cute. Again, lots of little sentiments, and these are, yeah, they're nice little puffy stickers. I love the little geo tags and the little hearts, and can you get, yeah, one-sided each. Okay, I also got 2 of the ephemera packs. So lots of little tags and labels and sentiments. Trying to avoid the glare, sorry. And then I got 2 of the enamel dots, which I love their enamel dots. I do buy their enamel dots fairly often from different companies, but lots of good colors. So that is my tourist mode haul from Scrapbook.com by Pinkfresh Studio. Now I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my trip. So again, it's kind of travel themed video. I flew up to Maine on Friday, May 19th. As you guys know, I had mentioned I had never been to Maine before, and oh my gosh, it is incredibly beautiful there. I don't think I've ever seen so many trees in all of my life. You're just driving, like I would be like driving down the highway or whatever, and there's just like forests on either side of you. And it's like dense forests, not just like a few trees. There's a lot of trees there. So much green. So I got in Friday morning around 11:30. I flew to Bangor, Maine. I did have a layover in Newark, New Jersey. And funny enough, on the way in, before we landed in Newark, I got my very first view of New York City. Like, I've never seen New York City from the air before. I've flown in and out of Newark quite a few times, but I've either flown in maybe like on the opposite side of the plane, like my seat was not facing the city, so I couldn't see it, or maybe it was dark. But it was really interesting to see the city from the air, and I'd never seen New York before. I've never been there. And I could even see like the Statue of Liberty and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So flew up to Bangor, got there. First stop I made was at Stephen King's house. You guys know, huge Stephen King fan. I mentioned that in another video. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Bangor, because I absolutely wanted to see like real life Stephen King sites. So the first stop I made was at his house. His house is incredible. You can only view it from the outside, obviously, but really cool there. But I was expecting like a bunch of people to be there, like taking pictures and stuff, but it was literally like no one there when I got there. So I got some pictures of the house, and it's not where he lives. It's like him and his wife have turned it into like a foundation for like upcoming writers. Kind of like not really like a, I don't really know. Not really like, maybe like a retreat kind of thing. I'm not sure. It's like a foundation that they have set up for upcoming writers. So went there, and then I went and got a picture of the Paul Bunyan statue, which was mentioned in It. So essentially, Bangor is like the real life version of Derry, Maine, which is like where It was based in. Derry is also, I think, where Insomnia was at. Yeah, Insomnia was in Derry. Lots of his books reference the town of Derry. Well, Derry's a fake town, but Bangor is like the real life version. So there's a Paul Bunyan statue, which was referenced in a couple of his books, including It and Insomnia. So I got a picture of the Paul Bunyan statue. And I had a few hours to kill before I could check into my hotel. So I decided to drive down to Acadia National Park, which is along the coast, about an hour from Bangor, just a little over an hour. And so I went there, and then I did about a 2-mile walk along the coast where like you could see all these like rocky outcrops and rocky beaches, and the water was just like splashing in. And oh my gosh, it was stunning. In fact, if you guys are interested, I actually have a travel themed Instagram. I will link it down below. If you guys are interested in following me there, you can see my travel photos. I post them more so on there than I do on my crafty Instagram. But I have a travel Instagram that I've had for quite a few years, and that's where I post, my travel photos. So I posted some photos there from Acadia, and it was just beautiful, but it was so windy. Like the wind was literally gusting. Like I took a few videos, and it's just like blasting the wind in the video. But it was stunning and just so beautiful. To see like the Northern Atlantic was just such a new experience. I mean, I went to Ireland last year, and I saw the Northern Atlantic from Ireland, from the western side of Ireland. But to see it in America, in the northernmost part of America, in Maine, it was really cool. So after Acadia, I just drove to my hotel and just, drove back to Bangor, had dinner, checked in the hotel, all that. So Saturday morning, I got up fairly early, had breakfast, and then I decided to go looking for lighthouses. It was just like, I really wanted to see at least a couple of lighthouses. So I drove down, I just looked on a map, and I drove to an area where there was one called Owl's Head Lighthouse. It was fairly small, not really what I expected, but it was really cool to see it in person. And then I got some like more beautiful photos of the ocean and the coastline and whatnot. So then I drove, I just kind of drove around, and then I drove back to Bangor, went to Mount Hope Cemetery, which is also a Stephen King place where he had, I guess, spent a lot of time when he was younger. He would like just sit in the cemetery, write down ideas. He got inspiration from some of the headstones. He got names for some of his characters and whatnot. So I just wanted to check that off of my Stephen King list. So I went to Mount Hope. And then while I was driving around, though, I was looking up things on the map, and I noticed that Salem, Massachusetts was only about a 3.5-hour drive from Bangor. So I instantly had it in my mind, I'm going to Salem. I've never been. That was always, always, always on my bucket list. However, it would more so be on my bucket list for like fall time around Halloween, but I digress. So I decided to just get a hotel room further down south in Maine. Initially, I was going to get up super, super early on Sunday, like 3 a.m., drive down because it was about 3.5 hours, and then just spend a few hours and then head back up north. But I was like, well, you know what? I might as well just drive down to southern Maine and get a hotel room, so that way I only have to drive an hour to Salem. And I wanted to go to a town called Ogunquit anyway. Ogunquit, Maine is where Franny Goldsmith and Harold Lauder are from in The Stand, which is like my all-time favorite Stephen King book. And it's referenced obviously in a lot of his other books. So I went online, booked a hotel. This was very spontaneous, and I did unfortunately have to spend extra money on a hotel, but I really wanted to go to Salem, and I didn't want to wake up at 3 a.m. So that was like, okay for me. I found a reasonably priced little hotel room. So I drove back down south to Ogunquit. Spent the night there, and oh my gosh, on the way down, I hit this rainstorm. It was literally like 2 hours of driving in like the pouring rain. It was terrible. But when I got there, it finally stopped raining. So got to a gunquit, stayed the night, woke up early on Sunday morning, drove down, like it was like an hour and maybe 10 minutes to get to Salem. I checked out the I think it was called Broad Street or Broad Avenue, Broad Road. I don't remember. It was Broad something cemetery, which is one of the oldest cemeteries in Salem. It was established in like 1655. Now, obviously, to my, British subscribers, 1655 isn't old for you guys, but that's really old for us in the US. So one of the oldest cemeteries, in Salem, and probably one of the oldest cemeteries in the US. So I went there, just did a little bit of just like sightseeing, and I also went to the Salem Witch Trial Memorial. For those of you who are not from the U.S., the Salem Witch Trials occurred in 1692. 200 people were accused of witchcraft, and I believe it was 30 that were convicted, and 19 were hung. And they were men and women. So there was a memorial set up at this other cemetery. Oh my gosh, it's called like the, oh my God, I can't even remember now. I'm sorry. It's been like a blur the last few days. But there's the oldest cemetery there. Charter Street Cemetery, maybe. I can't remember the name of it, but the memorial is there. And there's like a memorial for each person that was hung, or that was accused and hung in the Salem Witch Trials, and there's their name and like the date that they were hung, unfortunately. So and then the cemetery is like off to the side. It's really cool. I just love old cemeteries. I think they're like spooky and cool, and just like the old headstones where you can barely read like the names or the dates or whatever, but just to know that they've been there for like since the 1600s is pretty wild, because that, again, that's really old for us. So, and then I also toured the House of Seven Gables, which is where Nathaniel Hawthorne spent a lot of time in his youth. That's where he wrote a book called The House of the Seven Gables, and he's the author that wrote the Scarlet Letter. So did that, walked around. I was only in Salem for a couple of hours because I knew that I had to like head back up north and go back to Bangor that day. So on my way up, I stopped again in a gunquit. I was hoping to get like a picture at the beach in a gunquit, but all of the beaches were either private beaches or they were super packed, and I was by myself, and I just felt kind of awkward like walking down the beach by myself in these like super packed beaches. So I found this other beach, which was in Kennebunkport, Maine, which is just a little bit north of Ogunquit. And I think it was called Goose Rocks Beach. And oh my gosh, it was like very out of the way. It took me forever to get there. It was very out of the way, but one of the prettiest beaches I've ever been on. It was like so quiet. There was hardly any people there. And I took a walk down the beach, and then I just sat in the sand and just listened to the waves. And it was just so mentally refreshing to just hear the ocean. I am a water baby. I'm a Pisces, and I absolutely love the ocean. I grew up in Florida. I was at the beach almost every weekend as a kid, and living in Pennsylvania, I miss the beach like crazy. And I haven't been to like the beach at the actual ocean for quite a long time, several years, in fact. When I do go to the beach, and the quote unquote, the beach here, it's to go to Lake Erie, which is, again, a beach, but it's at a lake instead of the ocean. So it was just so nice to just hear the ocean, the waves like coming up, and like, it wasn't like a high tide or anything. It wasn't like hard waves. It was just like the like slow, soft waves that are just so peaceful. So I just sat there and listened to the waves for a little while, and it was just so nice. And then I left there and I drove back to Bangor, because it was like, at that point, it was about 2.5 hour drive. So, I didn't really do anything Sunday evening. And then Monday, before I had to go to the airport to catch my flight home, I drove around and got some more, sites knocked off, like checked off my Stephen King list. I went and saw the Thomas Hill standpipe, which is also referenced in it. The corner of, I think it's Jackson and Union or something like that. I looked on this website that had all these lists, and it's supposed to be like where Pennywise the clown lives. And then I mean, I checked off a bunch, and I went back to Stephen King's house and just got a couple more pictures. But there was other things that I checked off too, like the house where the Creed family lived in Pet Sematary in the movie. Like, you can actually like drive past the house. So I just drove by and got a picture. All in all, and then I had to like come home. But all in all, Maine is unbelievably beautiful. It's no wonder like it's called a vacation land, because it's stunning. Like, the coastlines are beautiful. Like, even inland where Bangor is, it's so pretty. The houses there, oh my gosh, like unbelievable. Just so pretty. But yeah, I definitely want to go back in the fall. That's always been a dream of mine, to see New England in the fall anyway. But to see all the leaves changing and just feel like the cooler air. It was beautiful weather while I was there, by the way, other than that 2-hour rainstorm. But when I wasn't driving for 2 hours in the rain, the rest of the time the weather was absolutely perfection. But yeah, it was just so unbelievable. It was so pretty. Yeah, Maine is definitely someplace, if you've not been and you have the means to go, you absolutely should go at least once in your life, because it's breathtaking. It was so pretty. It was just so pretty there. So I'm really glad that I got away. I've been super stressed out at work, and it was just like something that I just needed. And yeah, I got home super late last night, went to work today, and yeah, I'm really tired, but I just wanted to tell you guys about my trip. And yeah, and like I said, I'll try to remember to link my video or my travel Instagram down below if you guys want to follow me there. I have been trying to post a little bit more regularly, but sometimes I just forget, and I like don't post a bunch over there. But when I go on trips, I definitely do. But if you want to see some of my old trip photos and things like that, feel free to follow me over there. I'd love to have you guys follow me on that Instagram page. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. If you've not already, I'd greatly appreciate if you would consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.